We're live. This is the Rich Lieberman Pulse for a Saturday, and boy, oh boy, you don't come here to for me to talk about my personal crap, but what a day it's been, and it's just beginning, so it can get worse. Anyway, so Murphy's Law couldn't have been more applicable to moi than today. But in any event, the show must go on, right? As they say. So I want to talk today. I'm going to get into a variety of things. But I've often said, and this is going to be about MsNBC, and they're having problems, and so many problems that parent M M M no MMM NBC Comcast is selling off a bunch of ancillary stations, cable mainly, like MsNBC. And here's the reason why, amongst many. I've often said that I don't go to a site or anything for that matter simply for political purposes, for, I don't know, advice purposes in this world in which we live in. And this has always been the case. If it's interesting, if it's provocative, if it's bottom line entertaining, I'm going to go there. And MsNBC simply isn't entertaining. It isn't. And I get early on why Rachel Maddow, whom I've often mocked, ripped, criticized, as being very ordinary at best, predictable, and quite frankly, not very entertaining. And I realize a lot of her fans, and she doesn't have many anymore, otherwise NBC wouldn't be doing what they're doing with MsNBC. It has nothing to do with politics. I probably agree with 80% of what Rachel Maddow is spewing out there, but it's the manner in which she does it. It's her attitude, her smarminess, her downright arrogance that has put me off and a few millions of others. And that, quite frankly, has to do with the lack of success that MsNBC has as a result. It's not the election, simply that. If anything, they get more people with Trump now about to become president again. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with predictability. MsNBC simply isn't entertaining anymore. They are predictable, and they're star players, commentators like Rachel Maddow, Joy Reid, who is both predictable, quite frankly, kind of sad, and not very entertaining. That dictates pretty much everything. I watch Fox News mostly to laugh a little, but when they had Chris Wallace, I loved watching Fox News. I like Brett Baer, not because he's entertaining, he's kind of rather ordinary and very staid, very benign, but there's something about him, and frankly, this has been proven that he's credible. He's credible, and he asks good questions, and therefore I find him watchable. Nothing to do with his politics. Nothing to do. And one thing about Brett Baer, he doesn't really show his. Oh, he does, but he is at least credible in the sense that he will ask the tough question. And Fox News, not their opinion people like Hannity and Laura Ingraham, who should be embarrassing or embarrassed by herself, not very entertaining, and people like that doofus Jesse Waters. And look, do they do well? Yeah, mostly white, older men. Yeah. And by the way, I don't want this thread. So before you start telling me how great Trump is and the Dems are bad and the Republicans are good, stop it already. I don't need this. I've had people that send me these, opinions and memes and all that. I don't need it. This is quite the opposite. of what I am broadcasting. MsNBC is predictable, as is to a lesser degree CNN. I'll give CNN a little bit of credit because at least they put on people who are on the opposite end of the political spectrum. And this guy, Scott Jennings, one of their GOP political commentators, operatives, what have you. The guy's good. He's watchable. You know, probably disagree with many of his talking points, but he's interesting. Same thing on the other end of the political spectrum with Laura Coates, the former prosecutor, the black woman from Maryland who has her own show now, which struggling to find an audience, but she's good. She's very solid, much like Abby Phillip, who used to be a columnist and a political writer with the Washington Post. I do like Abby Phillip quite a bit. So the point being, folks, is MsNBC, a few years back, they had quite a following. They had a very, very loyal following because their commentators did a good job and had some, not the, what's the word? Not the predictable crap that they spew out today. They made some key points and analysis. And that to me was entertaining. It was informative. I like watching Nicole Wallace. I enjoyed watching uh, Lawrence. What's his name? Oh God, I forgot the guy at night. It'll come to me in a second. I can't watch, although I understand Mika Brzezinski and Scarborough in the morning. It's a very fluid, kind of interesting. All the political people, right wing, left wing, middle, watch Mika and Joe Scarborough because it has kind of a fluid, entertaining mix of commentary, guests, opinion, all that. Not the politics that they spew out. I'm on them, same political wavelength, but I don't watch it for that reason. I watch it because, again, entertainment, fluidity, enjoyment, unpredictability. Although, ironically, they were way off during the election, as were a lot of other people, but nevertheless, they've got a good mix of opinion makers and guests, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's why that show gets numbers, because people from all over the political spectrum, and most notably the Washington, New York, that kind of intelligentsia, that political mix, people watch that show. It's entertaining. That navigates the numbers. It has traction. It gets mentioned a lot, even on the right wing punditry. So I'm not surprised by this NBC corporate Comcast disconnect, both literally and figuratively, from MsNBC. They just simply got way, way too predictable. That doesn't translate into good numbers. So we could talk about that today if you want to let me know. And I want to address something too, because I'm one of these folks. I don't look at what I'm supposed to do, what I'm not supposed to do, swearing, epithets. Give me a fucking break. The headline, which I broadcast on Friday. Some of you reacted like, oh, I need mental help and, this, that. I know a lot of it's the trolls and all that, which you can't escape. I'm convinced. I know all about that. The reason why I did that is because, and I'm not on the defensive. I guess I am. I'm going to continue to do that because it's just me reacting to everything. That's my brand. I comment. I'm not going to stop unless you tell me otherwise, and not all of you. You know who I'm talking about. I comment on everything, and I have ripped everything. I don't rip just to rip. I critique. I give what I would call honest, yes, spontaneous opinions or two, negatively, sometimes positively. But I'm not here to be, Mary Poppins or Peter Pan. I give an honest take, a word I also hate, an honest opinion. You know what I mean. And those of you who have come here, and I got a few people that, they like it. They want me to do more. They want me to be even more harsh. But I'm not going to go down that road. I'm going to be what I am, which is rich. And you may love it, you may hate it, you may be in the middle, which I doubt, but that's what I do. And I'm not bioed by numbers or donations, contributions. I do what I do. And some of you get it. I don't mean to be sanctimonious when I say those that get it, and then on the opposite end, don't get it, as if they're wrong and I'm right. It's not a right or wrong, folks. I've only been doing this now a little over a year. And when I first started writing the blog, it was much like this. Only one difference. It took me a while, and it wasn't me, it was word of mouth. That's what I live by. But it took a while for the blog to really catch fire, get going, which it did. And I know my appeal. It's not for everybody, it's an acquired taste. Therefore, if you love it, and you don't have to, we can always agree to disagree. But I'm not here for that. I do this based on what I feel. And I'm not going to play lovey-dovey to brands or people, anchors, TV reporters, radio people, that kind of a thing, based upon what I can get in terms of contributions. That's not how I fly. Never have. And if I'm cutting off my nose to spite my face, kind of a thing, so be it. That's the way it is. First off, many of you come here and you haven't contributed. I'm talking about donations. You haven't donated. And that's fine. I get it. I understand a lot of you, it's pervasive all over the internet, that the internet is free. And I'm not going to pay for anything. And I'm not talking about me now. I'm not going to pay for anything unless they ask me. And if I'm really, really into it, I'll donate or contribute or buy whatever content I want to buy. But by and large, I'll just go to the Drudge Report, or I'll just go wherever I go. And look, that's fine. I get all that completely. I'm a product now of this internet situation. And there are a lot of things out there that are free. A lot of people do pay, for example, the New York Times, in order to see a lot of their columnists and features and the crossword puzzle, all that stuff. You do have to buy into a membership. I, folks, have put off putting myself on a paywall, which I could. Frankly, I don't even know how to do it on my own. How embarrassing is that? I don't even know how to change a spare tire. Roots. And anyway, so I live and die by, I'm not turning this into I guess I am, a donation request, but that's how I exist. And if just a few of you were, God forbid, to contribute with $5, $10, $20, $50, whatever, more, less, then I wouldn't have to do these. But I'm explaining to you in so many ways, in words, how I operate. I have put off countless times advertising. I have said repeatedly, I don't want to be told what I can say, what I can't say. So, in essence, you fund me or you don't fund me. And those of you who get it and have told me repeatedly, like I have said repeatedly, I don't want people who always agree with me. I don't want those people who always disagree with me. I want a mixture. I want people who tell me that they're here because they understand that I am live and that I present, albeit with flaws and not always illustrious backgrounds, and a studio that is me, a room in my house with my little TV monitor and my backdrop and my whatever, my little decorations, until I can get funding, which I hope one day, before I croak, that I can get funding, that I can have a little bit more of a professional looking backdrop, but I don't have that now. I have a camera, I have electronic means, which I have to pay for every month to survive, and I have you, all of you out there who come here because you enjoy it. And there are days that you don't enjoy it, but you're still here because you understand that Rich, as I talk in the third person, thank you, is unique. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes in the middle. But I'm honest. I don't give you false takes. I don't have elaborate graphics. I'm not going to give you information and bullshit about third round draft picks in the NFL and get my rocks off and have little fancy letters and do little takes and have a beard and where I used to work at a radio station and tell you about my lovely kids like Damon Bruce and give you false shit. I'm going to give you an honest and interactive and opinions. Sometimes political, sometimes non-political, sometimes pop culture, all the above. But I'm going to be live. I'm generally going to be here every day, even on holidays. And if I can get enough donations and contributions, I may even do some holiday broadcasts where all of us, I know a lot of you watch this show. I know a lot of you are single and maybe don't have family, or if you do, very small family, and you come here because somehow I captivate you. All right. I don't have a band or an orchestra. I don't, again, have these little pretty little things in the background and bookcases that have sports books and political books and talk to you about stuff and give you fake takes so I can cultivate some bullshit kind of an audience. I give you Rich. And Rich isn't always going to be, again, third person. I'm very, I'm very, I'm very, Rich is going to give you honesty. You may not agree with it, you may not like it, but you're here. Why are you here? It's kind of like me in some regards when I go to places that I know I'm going to hate, but it's kind of like listening to KNBR now or watching whatever. At least they're live, right? I don't have the budget that some of these sites have. I don't have a vast financial collection. You may despise me. You may think my backdrop is hideous and my bedroom and my monitor. And maybe you don't like Howard Stern. I don't know. But I do a live show. And I've occasionally given you some scoops that the Chronicle, by the way, has lifted. They're not scoops always, they're material, etc. That some of the Chronicle, namely SF Gate, has lifted from me. Because, they don't have any money, right, Hearst? Any event, I rely on you, or I don't rely on you. It's as simple as that. I don't do countless pledge breaks every day like KQED, Channel 9, who collect still gazillions of dollars and $25 to $50 contributions where somebody can get a $2 coffee mug. I wish I had the power to get a quarter of a quarter of a quarter of what KQED gets. And I give by far more compelling, entertaining, and dare I say, live and original entertainment than KQED, which survives and not only survives, thrives on contributions that goes mostly to the pockets of their overpaid managers so they could continue to take clients out to lunch at Original Joe's, say, in San Francisco. And here I am, little old Rich, good old survivist Rich, just trying to break even, part ways. Okay, enough of my pontificating on that mode. If you like what you see, I urge you and massively, massively request that you make a contribution, I will personally thank you via email and or phone call. And those of you who have donated in the past, thank you. Those of you who have helped me out, I ain't curing cancer. I'm not parting the Red Sea. I am not getting diabetes diagnosis and making that disease curable. I am simply trying to be rich, Lieberman, and give you some entertainment and information along the way. It is Saturday. We're nearing the holiday. And by the way, if all goes well, as Jim Eason used to say, I will be on during the next week. A lot of you are going out of town. A lot of you might be having friends and family over for Thanksgiving, which I won't have for the sixth straight year. I miss you, Mom. But I will be here to hopefully entertain you and keep you company and give you something to watch and observe live based upon my willingness and want to always entertain you here at the Rich Lieberman Media Pulse. Again, please, folks, contribute, become a member of my YouTube channel, and thank you as always for watching.